by Time magazine as the leader of the Christian church. Well, anybody, of course, that Time magazine picks to lead the Christian church, I'm very suspicious of, because Time magazine's part of the Trilateral Commission complex, the Brotherhood of Darkness, as it were. Okay.
That's interesting.
God bless. Thanks very much. And let's go to Mark, who's calling from Charlottesville, Virginia. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? You have a question for Bob?
Yes, I do have a question for Bob. Thanks, Dr. Stan. Bob, I bought gold back when it was $8.70, and I'm facing some financial difficulties now where I need to perhaps liquidate some of that, but I'm thinking that the prices currently are artificially suppressed, and wondering if you have any, should I try to hang on for another 6 months or so? Is there a potential that it could go up sharply? What's your read on that?
I think there's excellent chance it could go up sharply, and sharply for you is anything over 870. And
right.
and you'd like to exit even or better if you could. And gold closed at 857.10 in the February month, and so you're not that far away. In fact, it traded up over to close to 870 today. So the chances of it going higher are excellent, and especially in the next 6 months. I would hold off until I could not hold off any longer, and then sell and commit the funds to what you have to do to remain solvent.
Right. Okay, good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mark. And let's go to Mike, who's calling from Santa Cruz. Again, our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Hi, Stan. I just had a question back to discussions about the troubles in other countries with their banks, central banks, or assets. In the bailout bill, under Section 112, our Treasury Department can go buying distressed assets or troubled assets in other countries from other governments. I wonder what Bob might have observed about that.
And the Fed has already lent the European Central Bank that cannot create money and credit in the manner that the Fed can, and they've lent them, I think it's about $2 trillion.
Yeah.
And so what you say is true. This systemic problem, the way it was planned, was to make sure that a number of financial institutions went under and were absorbed to form a concentration in that process to make it easier to implement the New World Order later as they go along. And so that's what this nationalization or fascistic centralization of corporatism is in part about. And the underlying financial structure is going to collapse. They have done it this way, and it is going to happen, and it cannot be avoided. And that's why after you get the basic insurance policy of food and water filter and being able to defend yourself, that you should be in gold and silver, and particularly gold.
Well, here's what I'm looking at. A very quick picture between the ramifications of the Bretton Woods, the going off of the gold standard, the tying of the world's currencies to the U.S. dollar, which is not a dollar, it's a Federal Reserve note. Then all the world's central banks become tied to our Federal Reserve.
And I think, Mike, that's one reason they want this, is because they are going to disrupt our economy, and as a result, they're going to crash the economy all throughout the world. And out of this chaos will come the new economic order that Henry Kissinger tells us we must accept, either the new international order or, of course, fragmentation and chaos. Those are his words. He's threatening us, and I think that this is exactly what they intend.
Well, that's the blackmail. That's why
right.
I call this the blackmail. It's not a bailout bill. It's a blackmail. And this bailout bill was maybe the last thing, or one of the last things they needed to bring all of the world's financial systems under the control of the Federal Reserve System in New York.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back. Go ahead, Mike. Did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, that was it, that the whole world's financial systems, through the central banks around the world, get tied or come under the control of the Federal Reserve in New York.
Okay, Bob, would you like to go ahead and comment on that?
Well, I think they're already hooked up, and if you look at the foreign exchange position of all the banks in the world, central banks in the world, you'll see that they hold in their foreign exchange reserve 64.5% of that reserve in U.S. dollars. So they are entrapped. They are locked in. And there will be countries that will break away. And countries like, Argentina as an example, who went out and bought, I think it was $40 billion or $50 billion worth of gold when it was around $450. And, you'll have maverick countries doing that. And they'll try to put them down, but they're going to be unsuccessful. There's going to be trouble in many countries, but I think the third world countries and second world countries will be affected the least, particularly in Latin America. I don't think the system will be as volatile there, but in Asia, because there's so many people, it's a problem. And in Eastern Europe, free trade and globalization all over Europe has been devastating. We just haven't heard much about it. I carry it in my publication, but virtually nobody else does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just always like to substitute the word U.S. dollar with Federal Reserve note. It takes the point closer to home.
I think you're absolutely
right.
Because there is no U.S. dollar. It's the Federal Reserve note.
Yeah, well, we're old. We make that mistake.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mike. And right now, of course, we're just about out of time. Bob, you got 1 minute to wrap up the program.
You mean I don't have 3 minutes tonight? Anyway, I think in listening to the program, and most of you have listened before, again, exactly what you've got to do to protect your families and to protect what assets you have. If you could just keep them together, keep them out of harm's way during this period that we're going to go through in the next 10 years, you'll be very fortunate. And, of course, as Ann always points out, and I don't very often, there's these deep spiritual aspects to what's happening. And I'll tell you, we're going to get a lot of help along the way that people don't expect.
I hope so.
And we are going to win. We're going to beat these people.
Oh, you hang on here. We have one more caller. Bob just came on, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, this is Dr. Stan. We have Mary calling from New York State. Mary, did you have a quick question for Bob? We're just about out of time.
Yeah, real quick. I was wondering if the fact that they let me do a plus loan for my daughter in 1996, and I really couldn't afford it. My uncle told me I couldn't afford it, and now they're after me all these years later, and I'm on disability now. So I had assumed that once you're on disability, you got forgiveness of those loans. But if you don't, then I have a theory how they're going to pay all this tremendous debt off. They're going to put it on the backs of all of us disabled.
I think they probably will. I think we're in for real troubles, Mary, but God bless you, and I just hope things go well. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bob.
Okay, Bob, we're out of time. God bless. We'll talk to you next Monday, I guess.
I'll see you there.
Thanks so very much. Okay,
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was Bob Chapman, and basically we're facing the greatest financial catastrophe of all time. It is not in one country, it's worldwide, and it was planned that way. And if you haven't read Henry Kissinger's article in the International Herald Tribune, you Google Henry Kissinger, International Herald Tribune, New World Economic Order. You pull it down. If you can't get it, you get something else from us. You could ask for a copy. We'll send it to you. What you need to do is read our pamphlets on the history of money, what you should know.